here is the deal. Some of you could use a little work on this because I remember this from last year. Where's my X? How do I get rid of this? We are on this page right here, right? Yes. Let's see what we can do here. All right, let's look at number one. Step here, write these steps down as we go about these so you'll know exactly what's going on. The first thing you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, is you need to extend the lines of the angle. Simply because your protractors, if you had a little teeny tiny itsy bitsy protractor, which they do make, you wouldn't have to. But as it stands right now, those lines aren't long enough to make it all the way through the protractor. So this is not a freehand thing, children. This is put your protractor on the line and make those lines longer. So it would look like this. You know, you're gonna, oops. You're gonna take your protractor, you know, line up the line with this thing, and make your line another few inches longer at least. So I'm gonna take this, put it on the line, and then take your line, and make it longer. Oops. My line got all moved up here. And it needs to be straight with it. Don't make it bent, otherwise you're going to keep getting the long ends. Got that? Point me your straight lines. Again, since you have it there, you might as well make it. It's got to go longer than that. It's got to go through. It's got to be as long as your protractor is wide. So you need to just make it. You might as well make it almost as long as you almost can. Don't just add an inch. Add a few inches. So you're going to want to add at least 2 or 3 inches there, children. At least 2 or 3 inches. That's not a straight. That's not straight. That is. You got to have straight lines, people. Yours aren't long enough either. You might as well almost go to the edge of the paper there, children. Go to the edge of the paper there. Okay, step number 2. Step number 2. Okay. Step number 2 is you need to put the vertex of the angle. Put vertex in the hole of your protractor. Now every protractor is different. Some of them have notches, some of them have holes, some of them, but all of them have something. All of them have something. Holy cow. You know, on my protractor there's a little dot right here. Yours may or may not have that same little dot, but there should be a place where 2 lines cross. Yes, you have a hole. Yours is a hole. Yours looks like a hole. And now when you do that, here is where it gets a little dicey / tricky here, children. Okay? You need to, step number 3, with that vertex in the hole, you have to line up the line that goes through the hole with the angle, with the side of the angle. Okay, in other words, this. You need to, here's my hole, it's got to go on the vertex. Now, I already had mine lined up. But if yours is not lined up, you know, when you put that vertex in there, you need to put that on there and turn it so that it does line up. See how that lines up with that? Mine is at the bottom of my protractor. Yours probably goes through the middle. But you also have to do that so that the other side of the angle actually goes through your protractor. Take a look-see up here. This does me no good. If I line this one up on this side, like this, and my other side doesn't go through the protractor, I'm not doing anything of any value. So your angle has to go through the protractor lining up one side. Are you with me? We did this last year, so this should not be a terribly. We also forgot to do something. All right, now, before we go any farther, don't write this down, but I want you to look at all of these 9 angles and write down either the letter A for acute angle, O for obtuse angle, or R for a right angle. So number 1 is definitely a acute angle. Number 2 looks like it's a right, doesn't it? Does it look right to you? We can put the letter R there. 3 is obtuse. 4 looks like it's acute. 5 looks obtuse. 6 looks acute. 7 acute. 8 acute. 9 obtuse. I should have done that way before we even started. Alright, now back to where we started. Back to this thing here. Okay, now once we have that done, if you know that this is an acute angle, you know that it has to be less than 90 degrees. That's incredibly important. So we've got our protractor all lined up. Right, old reindeer? Here's what we do. You look at your protractor. Mine will not be exactly like yours because my angle is whatever. You look at where the angle crosses your protractor right here, and you're going to have 2 choices of measurements. See, on mine, this comes between 50 and 60. On mine, my choice is, I don't know, it's like 51 degrees, or it's between 120 and 130 or 129 degrees. Those are my 2 choices because that's exactly where my protractor goes through my compass. My angle goes through my protractor. But only one of them could possibly be. This is an acute angle, so there's no possible way it's 129 degrees. So I get 51 degrees. Now, like I said, because my board is off, because my protractor is right, because I can't draw right on top of lines, yours is probably not the same. John, what did you come up with on your paper?
I came up with it.
Is it 50? Maybe it's 50 degrees. Did most of you get something like 50?
Yeah, I got 51.
51, if you got exactly, then maybe I got lucky on this one, but if you got 70, then you're probably wrong. If you got somewhere between 49 and 52, or 48 and 52,
I
then
got
all is well. Alright, so now that we got that, let's try this one. Problem number 2, again, put your protractor on there, extend your line as far as you can, because the farther you do it, the better, the more accurate you will be. You're going to draw this, oh, I can't see it. Extend that line there, extend this line here. Well, that one came out pretty close. Put your protractor, I can only get so close. Put your protractor on it, measure it, and see what you come up with. Meanwhile, I would do the same. Get my hole lined up there. I can only get it so close. Rotate it a little bit. We'll see if you, me, and somebody else gets the right angle there. Did it end up actually being 90 degrees? And you might get 89. That's reasonable since we said it was right angle. 1 degree is a pretty tough. You call your problem is your line is not straight. Can you draw? At least sometimes you draw straight lines with your protractor. You should be able to put your protractor on this line. See the line with that line? I'm not sure how your line is. Certain angles there. Good, measure number 3 then. We agree number 2 is pretty close to 90 degrees. I agree, I got 90 degrees there. This one here, again, extend those lines as far as you can. Well, that one came out pretty good. Let me pinch it on, but you have to go board like mine. see what you get compared to what I get here. Again, knowing that angle number 3 has to be obtuse. Has to be obtuse. If you get an answer that's less than 90 degrees, that is not going to be acceptable. Write down your answer and then we'll talk a little bit about this. Just a little bit. Survey says, Lily, what'd you come up with?
144.
Now, that's what I wanted you to get so we can talk about this. Take a look, and this is where you have to be very careful, children. Take a look up here. Lily, everybody look at the board up here. Now look, here's the line goes through here. And you have to be careful and look to see what numbers it goes through. Because you see a 50 here, and then you go, oh, this is 51, 52. No, because if you look, going down this way, the numbers get smaller. This is between 40 and 50. So if you're starting at 50 here and you're looking for this, it's actually 48. But we know it's not 48 because it can't be 48 because it's obtuse. So you know it has to go between these two. Now look what those are. It's between 130 and 140. So you don't start from here and count up to 141, 42, 43, 44. You actually start at 130 and go 131, 132. Okay? You have to be careful with between what numbers you go through. So I ended up with 132 or 133. Now you may be one way or the other. Did we come close to that? But certainly you can't say 143. 143 is right here. Here's 140, 41, 42. This is 143 right here. You have to look and see what numbers your angle is going between. And it changes. Notice here it goes up from 130 to 140, and here it goes down from 50 to 40. It's all dependent. How many people got 133? Did we get close to 133?
I got 136.
Again, mine's going to be a little goofy. Go ahead, measure the next two then for me, and then we'll talk the other side of the paper. Measure the next two. Measure the next two. There's no wrong way to put your protractor on there as long as you get it to work. Knowing again, this is an acute angle. Your answer cannot be above 90 degrees. A little bit, but who knows? So you cannot put 165 for problem number 4. There's no way that can be 165 degrees. It's an acute angle. I've got to use other measurements. For number 4, then we got. Sam says.
16.
I have 16, maybe yours is 14, that's within, but please make sure this between 10 and 20, this is the 15 mark on mine, so that's actually 16. Okay, not 14. You don't count, I mean, but yours might be. Mine's probably off because look, it's not exactly down there. All right, now flip that paper over. So today we also talk about how to draw an angle. Drawing an angle. And drawing an angle is actually pretty simple. Here are the simple little steps. Step number 1, you always, step number 1, you just need to start with a ray. Okay, and you want to plan ahead a little bit here because if you put your ray too high, your protractor, when you try to measure it out, it's not going to be on the paper. So you want to give yourself enough room to be able to use your little tool or instrument of measuring. So I would go probably as far down here as I can, make the ray go this way. I'm just going to draw a straight line. I don't need put a dot at one end and an arrow at the other end, and that's my ray. That's your ray. You can draw a ray, make sure it's a straight line, don't freehand them. Step number 2 then is do the same thing we did before. You put the vertex, so you need to make sure you know this is your vertex, it's got a dot, in the hole, and line up your ray with that line that goes through the hole. This line that goes through the hole. Let's do that. I'll move my protractor, I'll line it up, vertex in the hole. Try to line up this ray, so I've got to move it just a little bit. All that, as close as I'm probably going to get. Everybody get to this part right here? Can't quite get it. Alright, that's going to be good enough. Everybody at this point? So take a look here. How many degree angle am I supposed to be drawing?
38.
38. Okay. You will notice on your protractor, believe it or not, there are 2 38s. There's one right here between 30 and 40, and I'm going to put a hash mark right there. And there's one right here between 30 and 40 over here, which is a hash mark right here. Between 30 and 40, 38. Between 30 and 40 over there, 38. Okay? 38 degrees. Acute angle, obtuse angle. Acute. So your angle has to be acute. And here's what happens after this. Those 2 points that you have there, you're going to need your protractor, but I don't need it because I got a straight line drawing tool. I am either going to connect this, oops, I don't want that. What did it do? Where'd my line go? I'm either going to connect this point with this vertex, or I'm going to connect this point with that vertex. But only one of those is the point that I want because only one of them makes an acute angle. Which one, this one or this one, is my 38 degree angle? This one here. This is my 38 degrees from here to here. Otherwise, it's this angle here, which is way too big. So you have to then pick the one that gives you the right angle. So then step 3 here would be to you put dots, put marks at desired angle and connect dots. Go ahead and try number 2 for me there, will you? I'll make sure we're all on the same page there. That 85 degree angle is almost the right angle, but it has certainly got to be acute. See if you got some sort of an acute angle after you get that done. Start with a nice picture to draw it in.
I'm drawing.
85 degrees. Yes, you are so good, Jason. So. That. Yours looks like it's too big.
What's up, right? This will be 85 and picked over here. Whether this time is that this. One gives you the small engine. And then this one.
Yours looks just slightly easier to have two sides. Go ahead and do the rest of those things there. Good. Yours, Kate. Just so you know, just so you know. So you can finish that and finish the measuring side on Heather's part too. If you have any questions at all, I'll come out and take a gander, make sure you're